The sand of the Flavian Amphitheatre creates a slurry of red mud and yellow grit underfoot. It is 80 AD, and the roar of 50,000 citizens drowns out the singular, wet thud of a body hitting the ground. A Roman gladiator stands victorious, chest heaving, but the spectacle is not over. The true horror regarding female prisoners is just beginning behind the heavy oak gates. He does not look at the crowd. He looks at the Golden Theatrical Mask resting on the barrier, a smiling face meant to hide the terror to come. Why did the Empire compel its champions to participate in these specific shadowy rituals once the main combat ended? And what evidence of these backstage atrocities did the Senate try to bury deep beneath the stone foundations? The sun beats down, but the air is already cold. Victory here demands a price no steel can pay. If you are brave enough to face these dark histories, leave a like and subscribe and comment below where you're listening from tonight. And now, back to the story. The roar of the Colosseum is not silence, but a dull, rhythmic vibration in the limestone walls, a heartbeat of a beast that has just been fed. The victorious gladiator does not return to the sunlight of the city. He descends. The elevators and trapdoors that service the arena floor lead down into the hypogeum, a labyrinth of stone corridors where the air is thick with the smell of rancid animal fat, wet sawdust, and unwashed bodies. Here, the glory of Rome is stripped away to reveal its industrial machinery. The female prisoners are waiting in the semi-darkness. They have been marched from the damp cells of the Ludus Magnus, the training school, through the connecting tunnels. These are not merely spoils of war, they are carefully selected props for the evening's private theater. Soldiers push them against the rough masonry, checking their bonds. There is no shouting here, only the efficient clinking of iron keys and the scratching of a stylus on a wax tablet. A bureaucrat, likely a freedman serving the editor of the games, walks the line. He does not look at their faces, he looks at the tags around their necks. He erases their identities with a swipe of his thumb against the wax. A woman from Judea becomes Andromeda. A captured daughter of a Dacian chieftain becomes Hesione. They are assigned roles in a mythology they do not understand, numbered like cattle to ensure the inventory matches the script. The gladiator stands nearby, wiping the sand from his arms with a rough cloth. He is no longer the hero. He is the jailer, the looming shape of inevitable violence. Hope dies faster in the dark than blood dries. Yet, in this suffocating corridor, there is a flicker of human will. The Dacian woman stands straighter than the rest. Her hands are bound with raw leather that cuts into her wrists, but she refuses to look at the floor. She fixes her eyes on the smoky torch sputtering in the iron sconce on the wall. She begins to hum, a low, discordant sound that vibrates in her throat. A song of the Carpathians, a funeral dirge for herself that doubles as a defiance of the Roman order. The guard steps forward to strike her, but the lanista, the trainer, raises a hand. He offers a twisted form of mercy. He speaks in broken Latin, telling them that the arena was the hard part. Now, they only need to serve. If they play their parts in the scenas libera, the banquet enactments, they will be fed. They will be given wine. All they must do is submit to the narrative the victors have written for them. It is a transactional offer, their dignity for a few more hours of breath. The price is hidden in the eyes of the gladiator, who finally turns to look at them. He puts on the Golden Theatrical Mask. The cage opens only for the condemned to enter. The room is not a cell, but it feels like a tomb wrapped in silk. This is the cubiculum of the private quarters, far removed from the cheering masses, where the stone walls are painted with frescoes of gods turning into beasts. The air here is stagnant, heavy with the scent of burnt lavender and stale wine, meant to mask the underlying odor of fear. The Golden Theatrical Mask sits on a marble table, its frozen smile watching the women as they are arranged like furniture. The condition is stated openly by the editor's attendant. He holds a scroll, reading the script for the night's entertainment. They are not to fight back. They are not to negotiate. They are to perform. The Roman obsession with order extends even to their atrocities. They do not want chaotic violence here. They want a tableau. The Judean woman is told she must play the weeping prize. The Dacian is told she must play the subdued savage, grateful for the conqueror's touch. Submit to the myth, the attendant says, his voice devoid of emotion, and you will vanish into the servant quarters by morning. Resist, and you will remain here until there is nothing left of you to carry out. It is a binary choice. Convert to their narrative of Roman dominance, or suffer total erasure. The gladiator stands in the corner, stripped of his armor, but still imposing, a wall of muscle and scarring. He waits for the signal to begin the scene. The pressure in the room shifts. It is no longer the sharp terror of the arena. It is a suffocating, soft pressure. They offer wine that tastes like vinegar. They offer fine tunics that scratch the skin. They wait for the women to break, to weep, to beg for the role that guarantees survival. But the Dacian woman does not weep. She looks at the gladiator, then at the mask, and finally at the attendant. She delivers a single cold refusal, her voice barely louder than the crackle of the oil lamp. I see only a butcher, not a god. The escalation is immediate. The illusion of luxury is stripped away. The wine is kicked over, staining the mosaic floor like arterial spray. The attendant signals for deprivation. The women are separated, forced into corners, denied water, denied light. The gladiator steps closer, his breathing heavy, the adrenaline of the games twisting into a need for domination that the arena could not sate. This is the core why of the horror. The arena proved Rome could kill the body, but these private rooms were designed to break the spirit. They needed the barbarians to acknowledge their inferiority. A king without subjects is just a man alone in a room. Yet, the intention inverts. The silence the women maintain becomes a fortress. The Dacian woman closes her eyes, not in surrender, but in discipline. She retreats into the memory of the mountains, the cold wind of the Danube. The silence was meant to be their punishment, a void where they would beg for engagement. But she wears it like iron armor. By refusing to scream, by refusing to play the part of the weeping victim, she denies the gladiator his true victory. He can hurt her, he can take her, but he cannot conquer her. The price of this ritual is revealed in the dim light. For the women, the price is their physical autonomy, a trauma etched into the skin. But for the gladiator, the price is his soul. He realizes, looking at the unyielding woman, that he is not a hero. He is merely a dog on a leash, ordered to bite on command. The mercy was a lie. The victory was a delusion. The golden mask stares back at him, hollow and judging. The victor is the one who decides when the game ends. Morning light struggles to penetrate the vents of the hypogeum. The revelry is over. The shouting has faded into the city's waking hum, leaving the subterranean corridors in a heavy, guilty silence. The room where the entertainment took place smells of vinegar and stale sweat. The slaves arrive with buckets of lye and stiff brushes, tasked with scrubbing the floor until the mosaic tiles gleam innocent and white once more. They are the erasers of history, the janitors of the empire's conscience. But in the corner, behind the heavy drapes where the Dacian woman had been forced to stand, something has been left behind. It is not a weapon, nor a piece of jewelry. It is a scratching in the soft plaster of the wall, hidden low near the baseboard where the shadows are deepest. The Golden Theatrical Mask lies discarded on a bench, its painted smile chipping away to reveal dull lead underneath. It stares at the wall, bearing witness to what the woman did in the quiet moments between the violence. She did not weep. She carved. Using a splinter of bone or a hairpin, she etched a series of jagged lines into the stone. It is not Roman Latin. It is a crude geometric pattern, a solar wheel of the Danubian tribes, a symbol of continuity and eternal return. Stone keeps secrets that parchment is too weak to hold. This is the wordless rite of memory. The women knew they would not leave these rooms as they entered, or perhaps not leave at all. So they sanctified the space of their defilement. They turned a prison into a reliquary. By carving the symbol, the Dacian woman reclaimed the territory. She designated this cubiculum not as a place of Roman victory, but as a site of ancestral resistance. It is a small, invisible rebellion, a way of saying, I was here and I remained myself. Archaeological records from the excavations near the Caelian Hill, where the barracks once stood, suggest the existence of such unofficial graffiti, names and prayers scratched into places they shouldn't be. These carvings are often dismissed as the idle doodles of guards, but the depth of the incisions suggests a frantic, desperate purpose. In the damp soil beneath the foundations, fragments of votive offerings have been found. distinct, non-Roman amulets tucked into the masonry. This is the revelation that the Senate tried to bury. The horror wasn't just the sexual violence, it was the ritualistic nature of it. The gladiators, superstitious and fearful of death, believed that by dominating these barbarian women, they were stealing their life force, absorbing the savage vitality of the enemies they defeated in the arena. The abuse was not merely recreational, it was a perverse, magical transaction intended to ward off the evil eye of Nemesis. The slave washing the floor pauses. He sees the carving. He sees the solar wheel. For a moment, the broom stops. He looks at the golden mask, then at the wall. He dips his brush in the lye, poised to scrub the carving away, to finish the work of the empire. But he hesitates. He knows that to erase the mark is to kill the woman a second time. History is written by the victors, but it is haunted by the survivors. The lie does its work. The slave, under the watchful eye of the overseer, applies the brush with rhythmic, heavy strokes. The white chemical froth eats into the limestone, dissolving the dirt, the wine stains, and the faint, jagged scratching of the solar wheel. The Dacian woman's final testament is smoothed away until the wall is blank once more, ready for the next prisoner, the next night, the next inscription that will never be read. Upstairs, in the administrative offices of the Ludus, a scribe dips his reed pen into black ink. He opens the ledger for the day's events. He records the cost of the sand, the price of the animals, and the bonus paid to the victorious gladiator. When he reaches the section for the prisoners, he does not write their names. He does not write Dacian royalty or Mother from Judea. He writes a single, bureaucratic abbreviation. Add bestias to the beasts, or simply Exodus. They are converted into accounting errors, deducted from the inventory like broken pottery. The bodies are not returned to the north or the east. They are carted out under the cover of night through the Libetinian Gate, the portal of death, and taken to the Puticuli, the mass pits beyond the Esquiline Gate. There, they are mixed with the refuse of the city, the broken amphorae and the ash of the bathhouses. Rome excels at two things: building eternal monuments and burying the cost of their construction. Centuries grind the stone down. The Flavian Amphitheatre cracks. The marble cladding is stripped away to build palaces for popes. The hypogeum fills with earth and rain. The screams that once bounced off these walls have dissipated into the atmosphere, leaving no physical trace. Modern tourists walk the gangways now, looking down into the maze of ruins. They see the engineering, the complexity of the elevators, the scale of the spectacle. They imagine the roar of the crowd and the clash of steel. They do not hear the silence of the private rooms, but the echo remains for those who know how to listen. Return to that first image, the gladiator standing in the red mud, the crowd screaming his name. See him now, not as a hero, but as a man alone in the dark, washing blood from his hands that will never truly be clean. The Golden Theatrical Mask survives, sitting behind glass in a museum, its metal smile polished and bright. It watches the visitors pass by, guarding the secret of what happened when the arena emptied and the true savagery began. The mask survives, but the women it watched are gone, their resistance preserved only in the way the wind whistles through the empty arches, a low, discordant hum that sounds like a song from the Carpathians. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. What you forget eventually returns to claim you.